So in order to find Ranni and Ranni's Rise, you're going to need to clear the Caria Manor. So let's take a look at where that is on our map. You start the game all the way down here. First boss, second boss, dip to the left, you end up in here. Make your way through the entire manor. Just going to kind of quickly run you through the way that I took. There are some nasty big hands if you look up there. There's a few of them, and they are quite disgusting. So please be careful, because they can actually overwhelm you quite fast. They're some of the strongest regular enemies I've ever seen. The small ones, they're not much to really talk about. So you can avoid a lot of them by simply running. See, there's a big one right there. You can see its fingernails in the ground. There's a big one right there. But just completely ignore it. Now, because I've been here before, you could probably talk to that guy. I don't know if that painting you can grab. I don't remember. I'm just trying to do this as quick as possible. Obviously, it's up to you to look around and see if there's any items you want to grab. Go ahead and grab that Site of Grace. And then from here, this area can actually, again, be quite difficult, but we want to head off into that tower. There's going to be a lot of enemies, again, that are going to try and beat our ass. But we ain't got time for that shit. I mean, you potentially may have to fight them, but for the sake of the video, I know that nobody wants to watch me fight. I hate when people waste their time, including, you know, some of the trash mobs in the game. It's just such a waste of fucking time. Just like this, nobody wants to see you go up the elevator. But in this case, because I'm still talking in the middle of it, I guess I'll take you through it. Come in here. For obvious reasons, grab the Site of Grace. You get that gold ball sack or whatever at that tree right there by the wolf. You can fight the wolves if you want, turn them into a fur coat. That's up to you. When you run up here, it's going to look really deadly and dangerous, and you're right, it is. So you want to come over here. You want to jump. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk around them and completely bypass them, because we don't need to get into that shit. You technically don't even have to fight anybody, really. Jump over here to be on the safe side. And then you could be like, heh heh. Just a flesh wound. And now you're all the way at the boss. This is where the boss is, by the way. And this is where Ranni is. But I'm going to hold your hand through here. So you're going to come in through that gate. Like I said, you're going to defeat the boss. You're going to get a Site of Grace. And there's a nasty dragon, which is an optional boss fight. You do not need to kick its ass. Now that you're in Three Sisters, that's what he said, you can now beamline straight ahead. You'll see the dragon off to the left. I've already put a waypoint on the tower. So if you're a bit lost, yeah, don't let that dragon screw you up. Again, it's this one right here. I don't know how tough he is. I'd rather not find out. There's going to be some wolves up ahead. You can choose to turn them into a fur coat if you wish. Now that we're inside, we're just going to run to the top. Get our Site of Grace. right here. Go all the way to the top here. There's going to be a lift because I teleported away. It's at the top. Once you get on, get off. Run all the way. Whoa, don't jump off. Run to the top. And there is Ranni.
Oh.
Do your little speech. You should, hopefully, get something that says no particular reason.
No reason in particular.
Then after that speech, you can click on Serve Ranni the Witch.
I see. A choice well made.
Then come back down the elevator. Rest at the site of grace after you've spoken to the ghost of Iji, which you'll see here. For some reason, he disappeared for me. There's like 2 or 3 people. You really can't miss them. I think there was another one in here. And I think there was someone right around here. Because if you try to leave, there's actually like an invisible wall. And then when you look at your map, you know that thing when you're in a cave there and you got the red line and you can't fast travel anywhere and you're like, what the hell is going on? So after I spoke to the NPCs, I went to the site of grace and I just rested. There was no cutscene or anything like that. And afterwards, all those ghostly NPCs disappeared and the red line was removed, and I was then able to continue my journey. Now for this next part, it's incredibly important. If you've already beaten Starscourge Radahn, then you're going to need to go in the description box and click on the timestamp that says Starscourge Radahn defeated, because you've already beaten him. If you haven't, then you need to come to this location here to Siofra River Well. So let's zoom out, give you a little bit of perspective. So we were all the way up here, somewhere around here. There we go. We were all the way there. We're going to go back near the beginning of the game, which starts off right over here, right? That's where you start the game. So just go a little bit east and north into that little forestry area where the big tree is. And when you're in this location, it's really hard to miss. There's that annoying bear that's been clawing at that tree trunk for probably God knows how many decades. And it's also right next to the spot where you grab your map fragment for the area. So just head on over in here and make your way down the elevator. Once we're at the bottom, grab this site of grace. We're going to go on a little adventure, and we're going to go and talk to Blaidd. So we're just going to go all the way over here. I'm kind of holding your hand here because it's sort of obvious, but it isn't, in that it could take a good few minutes to kind of, get around, whereas at the manor, I strongly feel confident that you can figure that one out, on your own. Whoa, much quicker. Whereas for this one, it's just a little bit more of a puzzle. So that's why I wanted to do like a step-by-step for this one. Now, I don't believe we actually have to complete the area, but I'm going to show you where the map fragment is and where the NPC is that we need to talk to. So just over here, there's your other site of grace. So go ahead and grab that. As you go over here, you'll see a pillar in the distance there that's lit up. Click on this one to light the flame, because as you traverse through this area, you'll eventually, if you want to, you'll need to light all of those up. Okay? But for the time being, we're going to go a little bit over here. And if you look in the distance, there's an NPC there. There's also a couple of nasties. You can just completely ignore them. And here is Blaidd. So you go ahead, you talk to him. Talk to him a couple of times, and then he'll say, leave this place, leave it to me. We should be in search of the, the next person, which is Seluvis, which, again, if you have not defeated Radahn, you will go to this location. Now what we're going to do is actually head on over all the way back to Ranni's Rise, run out of the tower, and just kind of like hug the wall here, you'll be able to jump roughly around here and make your way to Seluvis Rise. And once you're here, never mind that dragon in the distance, just go ahead and talk to him. And then obviously what you're going to do at the end of the speech is accept the task. He's going to hand you over a potion. Make sure that you keep talking to him until you get the Seluvis introduction here. Always, you know, repeatedly keep talking to them until they keep repeating the same quote, because that is very important with almost all NPCs in the game. So the next place we need to go to is a little bit of an interesting situation because I accidentally killed the NPC. Well, actually it was done on purpose, but that's not the point. You want to go to the waypoint ruins right there. So let's take a look at our bearings again. Okay, we were just at this spot before. Remember the river well? Which is southwest of that, right here. You start the game right here. So get yourself right in this exact position. Whoops. It should look like this. Head on over in here. Go down this section. There's going to be a little pumpkin Halloween boss. Pew pew, kick his ass. Site of Grace. And talk to the NPC that's in here that I completely obliterated. In the event that you're in the same position as me. Supposedly, we can go to the Church of Vows to make it right. And that is right over here, directly east of where we kicked Renala's butt, which is right here, the second boss. You want to head on over to the Church of Vows. We're going to go there, and supposedly, I don't know, things can work out for the better. I don't exactly know how this works. But once we go in here, don't forget that you could talk to that turtle, hand in some books and all that funky stuff. Let's go ahead and do one of these things. Hopefully you have a Celestial Dew. I don't even know how to do this. Going to leave a link down below in the description box where you can attain Celestial Dews. Their sole purpose is just that, to allow players to carry out an absolution at the Church of Vows, reversing all antagonizations and resurrecting all dead merchant NPCs. However, this will not resurrect any of the traveling or isolated merchants. Now it says that my sins have been atoned. And now, if you go back to where we just were, at the Waypoint Ruin Cellar, you'll see right below Sorceress Selen. So now we're able to go in here and speak with her. After you've spoken with her, you do the show letter of introduction. And then after that, you can click on About Glintstone Sorcery. And then once you just see study sorcery rather, you can just leave. All right, for this next section, we're going to take on the boss, the Radahn guy, the Starscourge, Radahn and Caelid. Let's go ahead and take a look at our map here. You're going to want to come to the Impassable Great Bridge. Give you some perspective again. I'm all about that. You start the game right here. You're going to want to go directly east and come here. So, just figure it out. Come down here. And here's where it gets really interesting. A lot of people will share guides with you on how to get through here because going from here to the castle is actually quite an interesting thing. However, why aren't people just clicking on the portal that's right here? Does nobody else have the portal? I really don't understand, because once you click on it, it brings you, like, literally inside of Redmane Castle. And then once you're here, what you want to do is head on over here. Grab your Site of Grace right here. head on over to the top. And for the sake of role-playing, you can talk to him.
Into the fray together, eh?
I forget his name, Blaidd or something like that. Then you'll run up here, turn here, talk to this NPC, and he'll ask you if you're ready to begin. And then when you do that, and you say that you are ready to begin, we're going to skip that. So once you speak to him and it says that you're ready, I thought that's where you would go for some stupid reason to get to the boss through that gold gate. But it isn't. It took me a minute to try and figure out what was going on. You want to head on through here? I'm actually not 100% sure, to be honest, because I haven't done this yet. But you'll want to go up here. And now that we're at the bottom, I'm assuming you got to click on this. I honestly don't know. I haven't looked up the guide. Once you kick his ass, you get his rune, and then the remembrance. Now, surprisingly, I was able to kill him in one shot. And there's really not much that I can share with you to help you in your fight, apart from the fact that you can summon a lot of NPCs. So if you're struggling with this part, that is what I can share with you, is as you're running around on your horse, you're going to want to mount up. And you're going to want to start charging him, because walking towards him will be impossible. And it kind of took me a minute to clue in, because I'm fucking stupid like that. And you'll just see, like I said, a bunch of NPCs. I was just spamming the triangle button. And then I got off my mount when I was somewhat in the distance of him. And I just, kept using my special moves and shit like that. And it was actually pretty decent because, again, the NPCs were able to hold his attention really, really well. So now that you've finished speaking with Blaidd again, we are now at the section where I told people earlier in the video that if you had already beaten Radahn to come to this point, and this is the point here, you can check Ranni's Rise if you want with Ranni the Witch to see if she wants to talk to you, but she doesn't want to talk to me. And that's quite all right, because she'll tell you that there's, a hole in the crater way back to where we just were earlier, right here. Remember when we went to the Siofra River well? So now there's a big, massive crater in here, and it's going to bring us underground to look at some more fun stuff. So let's just go ahead with this section here. And what I'm going to do is I'll try and lead you through that little spot. So we'll go ahead and turn on my lantern, because that's what I always do. What you're going to want to do is put a waypoint right here, actually. It's going to be, pretty obvious when you look at it. It stands out from the rest of the trees. Yeah, so this whole thing has been absolutely wild. Having to read and watch 10 or 15 different fucking guides just so that I can get one guide that, for me, does everything. Yeah. And I'm by no means saying that this is a perfect guide. So come down over here, in case I lost you there. Okay. And it's going to look, I suppose, somewhat obvious. And then you'll come to this point, and you'll be like, where am I going? And it's called down. That's where you're going. Double jump. Oh, no, you don't need to. You don't need to double jump, and then you'll know that you're in the right spot because of this over here. You can go ahead and... I can't even see. But just to show you behind, it's pretty good. Just at least do a single jump so you don't fall in that crack. Unless you're into the crack. Well, I mean, to each their own. Just in case something tries to whoop my ass. So from here, yeah, let's go to the right side. Down over here. I've only been here once, like 10 minutes ago for a couple of minutes. So I'm talking and walking around like I know what I'm doing. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, for real. I have no idea. Couldn't effing tell you. You cannot use your horsey here. Thankfully, from the little snippet that I've been in here so far, might as well jump, is, doesn't appear to be overly dangerous. Again, if you want to explore and grab all this crap from people, jump. That'll be on you if you want to do that. Like I've mentioned before, my deal is not to waste fucking time with unnecessary battles. Unless it's really important. And I'm taking a big risk running because honestly, I don't know if this is a smart thing to do. And here is your site of grace, because you're probably going to have like a bunch of people that are coming after you. So we came from here. We grabbed our site of grace. We're going to head on out here. Big open area, bunch of skeletons. They're really not worth worrying about. You can grab yourself a larval tier. Those are used to go back to Rennala so that you can reset all your attribute points. And that larval tier is right in this guy's ear. Right there. And then we'll head back out here. Again, this is all new for me. I wanted to not look at any guides for quite a while. I did for the first little bit, but I gave up and just said, you know what? Forget about it. So this is all a surprise what's coming up next. But let me tell you something. This place looks abso-freaking-lutely gorgeous. And as always, we are not going to watch me defeat the boss. Just those two enemies here. Quickly disposed of. And I think it's pretty obvious we need to go inside of that gate. Anytime there's any kind of those rainbowy blue thing. Oh, well, there you go. There's another larval tier. So that's pretty important. So there you go. 2 larval tiers in just that one section. And we're delaying the inevitable. But you never know what's going to be on these corpses. It can be very, very important. So head on in there. So I just defeated myself and got yet another larval tier. I think that's why they call it the, the mimic boss or whatever. Because you're literally fighting yourself. And, like I said earlier, I'm a bit of a noob, so funny enough, it was actually really easy to defeat him. So naturally, grab the Site of Grace here. We're going to mount up on our horse. Now, there are 8 flames that you can light up and then defeat the Ancestral Spirit boss. We're not going to do that because this is not in line with what it is we're trying to do. So we're going to gallop here. Past that, whatever that thing is. I don't know where those smithing stones came from, but I'll take them. Looks like someone just threw them in my pocket. See, there's a lot of those pillars there that you go and you light up. Same thing with the one up here. They're all around over the place. If you just scrounge around, or whatever. You'll find them. And what we're going to do is come here. Click on the Site of Grace. And we are going to head in this direction and hope that I don't kaput. Because the blade is inside of a chest. We don't have to defeat any bosses for it. This is a little bit awkward. I want to make sure I don't... Oof, that was close. Screw that up. Okay. Yeah, it's all coming back to me. Jump there. Jump. Oh, for fuck's sakes. And it looks like Dum Dum just jumped off the cliff. So that's good. Now that we're here. Oy, oy, oy. My hands are sweating. I'm hoping, you know, that would be a good thing, that I'm going in the right direction. Otherwise, yeah, actually, want to go over here. You can run if you're feeling really brave. Drop down below. There are some McNasties here. Supposedly, you don't really want to be playing around in here too much. This will be good too when you grab this Site of Grace, because you'll be able to come back later at some point. You want some of this, cowboy? I don't think so. Can we mount? No, we can't. We can't get on top of it. That's what she said. Celestial do. Those are good if you've killed some NPCs throughout your playthrough. You go to the Church of Vows and you absolve your sins. And right in here, you get sucked to a dungeon. No, I'm just kidding. And there is the Finger Slayer Blade. Great Ghost Cloverth. And now, click your stick. Right, the right analog stick to go all the way back. Go to Ranni's Rise. And now that we're here, let's see how excited she is to see us.
It was thee.
So all that work for that piece of shit. I hope it was worth it.
My thanks. A strange gift, perhaps.
Yes,
I
it is a
am
strange
certain now
gift.
I must thank you. May leave. It was but...
And that concludes that part. Ranni will then disappear the next time that you go there. And literally right in her chamber, there's going to be a new Site of Grace in Ranni's chamber. From here, we're going to head on over, down over here to the eastern Liurnia Lake shore. And if you don't have it, well, I mean, get it. It's directly east of the second boss where Ranni is, or whatever her name is, I forget. Anyways, right here. And we're going to head over, to the study hall entrance, which is at the Carian Study Hall. We're just going to follow this little route. This is just to show you that it was right at ground level. We're just going to follow the path, avoid the enemies as much as possible. Sometimes I have a bit of difficulty. You could put a waypoint, obviously. Fairly straightforward. You could see in the distance the site of grace for the area. And I believe what this does is it turns the whole map upside down. We're now inside the Carian Study Hall. Again, site of grace. Come up here, examine the pedestal. And because we have that thing, we'll skip that so you can see it on your own. So now that we've used that statue, we can go in this direction, for example. Everything here will look normal up until this point. This is literally the part that normally, as you can see here, it's upside down. Normally that would be at your feet. But if you want to proceed to the very top of the tower, you actually have to drop down below. But I'm not going to go ahead and do that because this video is long enough. It took me quite a few hours to actually piece this entire thing together over the span of a couple of days. Pathetic, I know, but that is how intense it was for me to make this video. If this whole thing had been like, 5-minute video and it only took me a couple of hours to make it, I would have gone much further. Maybe I will in another video, but the whole sole intent and purpose of this video was, where's Ranni? How do we get the statue, the inverted statue, and where do you even use it? And just that took this entire time, just for that. So that's why I'm ending it here. So if it was helpful to you, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. It does greatly help support the channel with the algorithm. If you didn't like the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs down, and I'll make sure the moment you place that statue on here, this is what happens to you. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, obviously that would be great, but if not, hey, whatever. Thanks for stopping by anyways, take care, and maybe I'll see some of you in the next video. Bye for now.